Hey guys, welcome back. So in this video we will try to understand a new concept in a hash map. Okay, so if you try to remember, all these days I was talking about concurrent thread, or also I was saying that this hash map is not synchronized. Even I was talking about for the array list, I was saying that array list is not synchronized, right? What does mean by that, and how we will understand, like what problem will come, right? So let's say I'll start with the hash map. So if you look at here, what I did, I created one object of hash map, right? So I can do that, and by now you are very much familiar with how to create the object of hash map. Now there's a new concept here. You try to understand this. We'll have a separate chapter altogether when I'll start with the threading, but here try to understand. So let's say what happens is, when you want to perform two tasks at the same time, okay, when you want to perform two uh, two tasks by two different thread, okay, you can do that. Java has given us the class through which we can achieve that. So for now you can understand there is a class called executor class in Java, okay, and there is a method called new fixed thread pool. So when you say new fixed thread pool 2, which means what will happen, this pool of two thread will get created, pool of two thread will get created, right? And so, and I'm just writing as a service. If I'll delete this, when you just place mouse over here, click on create local variable, you will get executor service, right? So remember that, let's say you need to create a pool of thread where you want to perform a certain task with a multiple threads. Yes, you can do that by using an executor class. This is one of the way to do that, right? So I'm doing that executor dot new fixed thread pool. So I'm saying that you create a thread pool which has two thread, right? Clear till here? Now this by now you are familiar with. I'm creating the object of the class. This is my class, right? Concurrent map versus map. First I will tell you what are the things you can do in the map, and then I'll tell you where map will fail, and then we will talk about how we can solve it. Okay, so this is the object of the class, and this service has a method called execute. So if you look at this executor class service has a method called execute. So if you look at this execute method, what is the input to the execute method? It will take a runnable. Okay, it will take a runnable. So again, runnable is a part of thread, but here I will try to give you the idea of what is a runnable all about, okay, so that you will understand. So this guy will take the argument of type runnable. Clear? Execute will take a type, it will take argument of type runnable, right? And since I'm creating a thread pool of 2, right, I can call my thread 2 times. So what is this, right? This right thread 1, and what is this right thread 2? What does it mean by that? And then thread shadow. Do not focus here. First you try to understand. By now I have given you the enough idea of how to make use of anonymous class, right? And you know that how you can make use of anonymous class. Again I'll explain you. So what I will do, I will not implement the runnable interface. Runnable is the interface which will help us to create a run method, right? And that run method we can invoke through the executor service, right? So you know that runnable is the interface, and you also know that how we can make use of anonymous in the class. So same concept you try to understand. Since runnable is the interface, I can create the object of anonymous in the class. So I'm writing that runnable, and then I'll write reference. I'll write right thread 1 is equal to new control spacebar. So you can see that runnable is the anonymous inner type. Click on that. When you click on that, you can see that there is one method in the runnable interface which is nothing but the run method. Run method will get overwritten here, right? If you have any doubt for the anonymous inner class, do watch my video which I have made earlier for the anonymous inner class as a part of collection playlist. Okay, now you know that in this run method now I can write my own implementations, right? So you can see that one anonymous inner class reference is created. In the run method, what I will do, I'll copy this. I'm just running one for loop. Okay, I'm not doing anything, I'm running a for loop. And this through for loop, what I'm trying to do that is, if you look at my for loop, I'm running a for loop till 1000, okay, starting from 1, and this is the map, right? This is the map. So let me refactor this. Let me change to hash map, enter, right? All reference will get changed. Oh, 1 second, right click, refactor and rename, change it to hash map. The refactor cannot perform currently due to syntax error in the compilations unit. Cancel. So where is the syntax error? Okay, sorry, there was one syntax error here, so I cannot do refactor. Now let me do a refactor again. Refactor, rename, and I will change to hash map. Okay, so the benefit of refactor is everything will get refactored in one shot. And then if you look at here in the map, what is the map key? It is an integer object and value is the string object, right? So I'm keeping key as a key object as an I, you know that it's an integer, and value I am doing that a plus I, which means the I will get appended. This is the string, right? So this is your one thread which will perform a task which will add the data 1 to 1000, which will add the data 1 to 1000, right? Now there is another thread. Again I'm creating one more thread of type runnable. Okay, I am creating the reference of object of anonymous inner class, and here also there is a run method. Okay, in the same map, here I am putting the I, and I am keeping the value is equal to b plus I, right? And this is one print statement because I would like to see whether I is getting executed or not, right? So you have now two runnable created. You have two runnable created, and you know this where this runnable will help you. This runnable will help you to achieve multi-threading, right? Because this run method you can invoke through the executor service. Now you have created the executor service of size 2, which means on this service, when you say service.execute, you know what happens? This your thread will get executed when you say service.execute, and where this references are created, where this anonymous class references are created, it is created in the same class, right? In the same class I have created the two reference of anonymous inner class, which is of type runnable, right? And this guy is not static. Even the second thread is not static. So on the reference of the class, since ob is the reference of the class, this is the object I have created, right? So on this reference I can call anonymous inner class reference, right? This we have done that earlier also. So I can call this because this will be treated as a reference, right? This also will be treated as a reference of anonymous inner class, which is of type runnable, right? So I can call obj.writeThread1 and then obj.writeThread2. Now when you call the execute method service.execute, you know what happens internally? This thread will get invoked, and when you call second execute method, right, this thread again it will get invoked. Both the thread will start same time. Okay, both the thread will start same time, and both the thread we will enter the data in the same hash map. Both the thread will enter the data in the same hash map. You can see that in the same hash map both the thread is entering the data. This we call it as a multi-threading concept, where now you can understand, right? Two thread is trying to add the data in the same hash map. Two thread is trying to add the data in the same hash map, and then once the thread job is over, we need to shut down the executor, right? So there is a method service.shutdown. So basically when you write this service.shutdown, basically what it will do is it will shut down your all threads, right? Now let me run that and let me see that do we get any problem. Okay, got executed, all 1000 records got entered. Why I'm saying that got entered? Because you can see that I am calling I, and here also I am calling I. So both the locations I is getting called. Now why I am saying that both this thread is working in parallel. If you look at the output also, just scroll up, look at here, 1 1, okay, 2 2, then again 3, then again the other thread was working, then again 3, then again 4 4 here, 5 5 here, which means parallelly both the threads are performing the actions. Parallelly both the threads are entering the data to the hash map, right? By looking the I value we can make out, because I was starting from the 1 here, here also I was starting from the 1, so we can make out like both the thread is entering the data to the hash map. Clear? And we are seeing that there is no problem. Even though we have a 2 thread which is acting on the same hash map, we don't see any issue, right? And both are performing the right operations, right? And one more thing what we need to understand here is, key is common in the both, so there should be only one entry in the hash map, which we can actually see that. So before shutdown we have to make sure that both the thread has performed the task. So what we can do, that is on the service we can call service dot await terminations, right? So let's say I want to wait for 20 seconds and then time unit dot seconds, which means I am giving a time of 20 seconds for both the thread to perform the task, and this guy will throw interrupted exceptions, right? You know that like how throws works. So this method will throw the exceptions. Why? Because if you press your control and click on await terminations, this guy will throw interrupted exceptions. So this either you need to handle or you need to throw. So when I say on this service, this executor service has a method called await terminations, which will wait for 20 seconds to finish the task for both the threads, and then we are doing that the shutdown. Now after that, after shutdown, I just print the hash map, okay, so that you will come to know that what is the data you have in the hash map. So I cannot print directly the hash map, I have to print on the reference. So I have to do ob on this class. This is the reference, right? And it is non-static, so I have to do ob dot hash map, right? Because this guy is the reference. Now if I run that, let's see that the output, so that we will understand what's happening. Okay, so it's got executed and everything is done. So is it waiting for, okay, now you can see that after some time this map got printed. It's a huge map, right? You can see that the key value pair got printed here. It's a huge map, so the map got printed, right? And if you look at this map, all the key will be unique, right? The key will not be duplicated. So if you search for, let's say if you look at this, see here 528, 529, 527, so these keys are unique, okay, and you don't have duplication in the map. So this is your map. After the insertion, this is your map, right? So, and what happened is, you know that hash map will not maintain the insertions order, so this map is looking really big. So what I'll do is I'll keep data sort for you. I'll just keep 10 so that we can understand what is happening. Otherwise, when it is a huge map, it's very hard to manage, right? So both the thread is performing the job, and then we have this await terminations for 20 seconds. We have given that, like it will wait for 20 seconds to make sure that all threads are fine. So now you can see that even though we did an entry from 2 threads, still your key is always unique. You are not seeing that 2 times 1 key has came and 2 times 2 key has came, right? Because you can see that in the same hash map you are putting that I, which is starting from 1, and then again I starting from 1, which means this shows that even though the multiple threads are trying to write in the hash map, only write, guys, focus here, I'm saying that only write, there is not a issue, there is not a issue we are seeing that. We don't have any issue even though two threads are writing. Now let's say that here I'll go back and I will change to 1000, 1 to 1000, and here starting will be 1000 to 2000, let's say, right? So now both the thread should add the new record to the map, new record, because now the key is not duplicate. So you are starting from 1000, here we are starting from the 1, and now I'm printing the hash map. It will be really big, but we'll see that like how this is working, right? We want to see that how this is working, like whether we are able to insert through two thread in the same map or not. We'll see that. So we have given for the terminations time. We'll wait for termination time. Yeah, so you can see that all data got inserted in the map, and this is your beginning of the map, right? You can see that this is your beginning of the map. This is your beginning of the map because you're starting from the curly braces, and when you go at the end, so you can see that there is something called 2000. There is something called 2000 which is also got inserted, which means till 2000 is the key and value is equal to B2000, because if you go here is equal to B and this is 2000. So both the thread worked in the parallel. Why I am saying that both the thread worked in the parallel? Because you can see that when 1000 started, 1 was started. When 2 started, 1001 got printed. When 3 started, 1002 got printed, which means both the thread was working at the same time and the data entry was happening, right? Guys, one more thing, see this await terminations, you can do one thing. Even after shutdown, you can write here. This will make sure that both the thread has finished the task, right? And probably we can run that. Okay, this threading concept, yes, we'll have very details topics. See here you can see that here the best part is when you do a shutdown, and then when you will call await terminations. So what happens is this guy will just check, okay, both the threads has performed the task or not. If yes, it is performed, you can see that your output will come very fast in this case, right? So your output will be very fast in this case, and this is your map. It's a huge map got printed, right? Now this await terminations, why it is very important? Let's say this is in second. If I will go here and then if I'll change to in milliseconds, you have all the methods here, milliseconds, just keep 2 milliseconds. See that whether you will get output or not. Okay, this time we will get output. Let's see that I have kept 2 milliseconds. You will see that whether we are getting the output or not. So you can see that your execution is over. Okay, your execution is over, and just scroll down, but your map did not got printed. You can see that your map did not get printed and you got some concurrency exceptions here. This time you are getting that some concurrency exceptions, right? You can see that we are getting that some concurrency here exceptions, and data did not get printed. Now let's say if I will give some time here, 20 seconds. Okay, now if I'll try, your thread got printed and there is no concurrency, right? Because when you say await for this, so this guy will make sure that okay, both the thread should do the job and it should finish the job. When you don't write that, you are getting that concurrency, right? See, again it got executed. You can scroll and you can check that there is no concurrency here. So two thread nicely it is working and there is no problem. Again run one more time to make sure that you are getting that no concurrency, because the concurrency here is very important. That's what my plan is to teach you. So again you can see that both performed very well. Okay, both performed very well and there is no problem. So you can see that the two thread is able to write with no issue. But yes, you need to, if you are planning to print this hash map, you call this await termination, so that this will make sure that when you don't call this, and when you don't print this, then let's see that are you getting any problem, are you getting any issue, are you facing that concurrency issue. So because we are not printing a hash map, right? So let's see that it's got executed and there was no concurrency issue, so both the thread was able to write. Now let me try one more time, because we need to try a couple of time here. That's where we'll get a confidence. Okay, we are not getting that concurrency issue. See, no concurrency, right? Again try. No concurrency, right? But the moment when you don't write await terminate and when you go and print the hash map, because you know that these two threads are working and are putting the data in the hash map, and we are trying to print that. So this time, so what will happen is when you are trying to print the hash map, by that time your thread will not have done the job. See, one thing you can see that what output you are seeing, that you are seeing that the output is equal to blank. You can see that the map output here came as a blank, right? Because you know why you got blank, because when this main thread got executed, this was running, right? This both was running in parallel. At the same time this one got called. So when this one get called, right, that time these two thread was running, which means the task of this thread was not performed. So you got empty hash map. Even if you try one more time, you will get empty hash map. Okay, no matter you try 10 times, you will always get an empty hash map. So you see here, you all got executed, you got empty hash map, right? Empty hash map. Got my point? So you should call this await terminations, which means this will make sure that before terminating this main thread, main is also thread in the Java, so before terminating this main thread, it should make sure that all child thread should get executed. Because what is happening is, here what happens in case of threading, this main is a separate thread and whatever runnable you have created is a separate thread. So both the thread will work in their own direction. Okay, this guy will start, this guy task is just go run this service and call for the system println method for this hash map. Now this service internally is calling two more threads, so this will work in the other thread. This is the child thread, right? So main thread has finished the task. When the main thread was finishing the task, this hash map was not ready because child thread was running, both the child thread was running, right? So that what we have to do, always when you have executed service, you write await terminations. This will make sure that your all thread should wait till all the thread work is over. Okay, no matter main thread or your child thread, it should make sure that your all thread work is over. And you can see that there is no problem. You did not get any problem when you have two thread which is writing in the map. With this, I'll close the video. In next video, I will talk about some other concepts related to map. Thank you guys.